What is going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Today we get to talk to Shane Burgos, who's going to be debuting for the PFL at their upcoming event, PFL 3 2023 regular season. It's Friday, the 14th, so basically a week from today, and you can watch the fights on ESPN Plus. His opponent, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Welcome, Shane, back to MMA Junkie Radio. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Awesome, man. So, Shane, the debut was going to be last year against Marlon Moraes, more of a striker rather than a grappler. But here it's going to happen 6 months later versus more of a grappler than a striker and at a different weight class. Now, I know why the fight didn't happen last year, but why the opponent switch and I guess why the different weight class?
I mean, the different weight class is like I said it a couple times, I think it's pretty obvious at this point. Like I'm not a small 45er. Everybody knows I'm a big 45er, and making that weight was killing me. It really was. Like just being honest with myself, having to sit back and reassess after I had to pull out of that last one. I was like, you know what? Like for me to do this at 45 in a season, I mean, with the way the format is, it's not going to be conducive to my performances to be able to do 45, then fight again a couple weeks later, 45, fight again a couple weeks. It's just going to destroy my body and my mind. So I was like, you know what? Now's the time, and this is the best I've ever felt. Like I just finished my last hard day of training, and usually the last hard day of training before 45, like going into it, I'm just getting through it. I'm just trying to get through it. I'm just trying to go through the motions, get through it, get done with it. I feel fucking amazing now. It's like a huge sigh of relief. It's like fucking, hey, this is what I wanted to feel like this whole time. I should have just did this sooner. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm here now.
Are you retired from 45? Have you turned the page? Will you grow into the body and maybe add bulk?
Yeah, I think it will add some size to the body, but I don't want to say now. Never say never. That's what I'll say to 45. Never say never, but for right now, my focus is solely on 155.
Mm-hmm. And you get the former champ on your first fight in PFL. Can you talk about that matchup in terms of maybe not the X's and O's? Nobody gives that strategy away. We all kind of are familiar with both of you guys. You've been doing it for a long time. I'm talking about the psychology of it all. You're going in the big yard, and you're picking a fight with the big dog in the big yard. Are you seeing it that way? Like this is going to send a message to that whole lightweight division?
Yeah, 100%, man. This is the one. This is 100%. Like right off the bat, give me the guy. I mean, you can call him the former champion if you want, but I'm looking at him as the current champion because he won this season and he hasn't lost. You know what I mean? So on a 6-fight win streak, give me that guy right off the bat. Why not? Like. I'm fresh going into it. Yeah, give me that one right off the bat. I mean, it makes sense to me. So I love it. Is it people are saying, oh, why didn't put you guys in 2 separate ends of the bracket? Who the fuck cares? I mean, you've seen guys like Pettis ended up fighting Stevie Ray twice. You've seen guys fight each other twice. So after I beat him, we might fight again, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I think because we're all used to tournament formats in other sports, and you identify the top players and you look at them as a number one or a number 2, and then you think of a dream matchup. But yeah, hey, no one's complaining to get to see 2 top lightweights compete in a week. And we're in Vegas, so I get to see it in person. So no one's complaining about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. It's one of those things. Like I'm really excited for it. Like you give me the guy right off the bat. I'm looking at it like as a title fight. I mean, it's a title fight in my eyes.
All right. One more question from me here. I don't want to sound like negative Nancy, but there's been a lot of fighters, including Olivier, who have come over from another promotion, or let's just say the UFC, and year one has been a struggle, right? You named Pettis, for example, Mauricio Verdum, Rory McDonald, a few other guys. It didn't go as maybe everyone planned. Now that you've seen that and probably talked to others, what can you identify as maybe the main reason for it? Is it as simple as I just didn't take the opposition as serious, or what do you think, and how do you think you can apply it to you?
I can't speak for those guys. I have no clue what their reasoning is, but for me, I'm looking at it as I'm not looking at it like I'm coming into PFL. I used to be in the UFC. This is gonna be easy, a walk in the park. Fuck no. This is my first time at 55. This is my first time fighting in another organization in fucking years. I've been in the UFC for I had 11 pro fights in UFC, almost my entire career. So I'm not looking at this like it's going to be an easy run. And then I got the guy that won the tournament right off the bat. So I can't speak to what anyone else was feeling going in. But for me, I'm looking at this like this is the hardest fight of my career. And I'm going to treat every fight going forward as that, because right after I'm done with this one, I got to go right back in again. So I'm looking at this one right now. I'm focused solely on this one, as this is the hardest fight. This is my title fight right now. So I can't answer for anyone else. I don't know what their mentality was, but I'm balls to the wall. I emptied my mind, body, and soul into this training camp. I gave it everything I had. I left no stone unturned. I'm doing everything in my power to leave with my hand raised next Friday.
Shane, how would you say this experience is feeling like for you right now? Is it more of an excitement? I kind of look at it as it's like when you switch schools, and everybody's different, right? Even the staff that you're used to talking to all the time, there's a lot being thrown at you. What do you feel like emotionally going into this fight?
That's a good little scenario right there. It kind of is like switching schools, right? Especially in the beginning. Like now, I'm a little bit more settled into it. I'm a little more familiar with the staff and everything like that, and they've been so accommodating and awesome. So I have zero complaints. I love being a PFL fighter. I take pride in it. I take pride in the journey that I've taken. The way I did it, the way I handled it, the way I fought my ass off in the UFC, made a name for myself. Now I'm in the PFL and I'm getting paid what I'm worth now. I take full pride in it. So it's cool though. I definitely am excited to go out there and not just show up or perform. Like that's the biggest thing for me. Not just to go in there and just have fun, but go out there and fucking win.
George mentioned it's OAM, and this is the big dog, but that dog kind of tells you roughly what he's going to do every fight, right? Every fight kind of looks the same. What do you think of his other skill sets? Do you think he's capable of surprising you in any way?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the dude got 2 arms and 2 legs, and my boxing coach always says even a monkey can get lucky. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go out there thinking that this dude is a bum on his feet and can't throw a punch. And I mean, he can throw a punch, and we got small 4-ounce gloves on. So I don't expect him to. I do think he's gonna try to strike with me for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be long, but I do think a little bit, and then I think he's gonna start going for the takedown. And I understand it. I get it. He knows we're fighting again in 10 weeks, so he wants to get the safest win possible. And I don't blame him for it, but it's my job to keep it on the feet, and it's his job to try to take it down. I think it's pretty clear cut what the game plans are here.
What about the point system and all that comes along with it? At any point, do you think, I know that's probably got to be something in your mind as far as strategy, but once the fight starts, right? Like, how much do you think about all that stuff going on?
I'm putting that completely in the back of my mind. I'm not focused too much on the points. I mean, everybody wants the quick 6, right? Everybody wants it. Even if there wasn't a point basis, you want to get in and you want to get out. Not just because you're fighting again in 10 weeks, but because you're fucking fighting. You don't want to be in there for 15 minutes if you can be in there for 15 seconds. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if it's UFC, PFL, my backyard. As soon as the fight starts, I want to get the hell in and get the hell out.
Do you think by the end of the season you can be one of the PFL's top 5 stars because of the way you fight? Fans really, really appreciate you, and they backed your move from UFC to the PFL. What do you think?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, 100%. That's the plan. I plan on obviously winning all the fights that I'm in, but the way I fight, I feel like the fans and the PFL they appreciate it. You know what I mean? So I plan on going out there, putting on more exciting fights like you guys seen in all my previous fights. I feel like I'm allergic to boring fights, so I'm gonna go out there and fight the same way I've been fighting. Cleaned up some things here and there, and I plan on being one of those big stars for the PFL.
Last question. And by the way, I personally thought my prison analogy was better than Goz's school analogy.
I've never been to prison, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, but still, we're talking tough guy stuff, not stealing markers and crayons. But
hey, man, I went to a tough high school, George. You don't know.
That's true. All right. Can one day the popularity of Puerto Rican MMA fighters surpass the popularity of Puerto Rican boxers?
I think so. I think so for sure. Not just because of I think solely because of the fact that MMA is getting huge. It's getting bigger and bigger. I mean, like you guys that are like Jake Paul, doesn't he live in Puerto Rico? And he's training MMA now. So I think it's only gonna keep blowing up. All we need is to get one of those big gyms out there. I heard the UFC was saying they're gonna make a PI out there or something like that. But if we can get like a PFL show and beat them to it out in Puerto Rico, I think that'll just make the sport blow up. And then again, we can get big stars coming out of Puerto Rico and big stars that are. I mean, you got 1 million Puerto Ricans in the country that don't live in Puerto Rico too. Like me myself, I'm half Puerto Rican, but you got a bunch in the Bronx that are full blown, and they start training at these gyms. I don't see why not.
Definitely, I grew up watching Wilfredo Benitez. So, but now I cover MMA, and I just see a tide turning across slowly with what's happening in Mexico as well,
Yeah.
with the champions that they have and the popularity of the sport. And I can see other combat sports countries like Ireland, for example, Puerto
Good
Rico,
example.
I think Philippines
Yep.
one day might be the same way. Russia, even,
Yeah.
MMA is just blowing up. So hopefully you guys are a part of that. I know you're going to be one of the guys leading the way.
That's the plan. Trailblazing.
Hey, last thing here. This is away from MMA. I'm going to go old school. 30 years ago, did you ever see a movie called Carlito's Way?
I saw parts of it. I'm 32 years old, so I mean I was 2 years old when that came out, but so I've seen parts of it.
You look like you could fit into the movie, man. You should watch it.
All right,
It's based on a character that's Puerto Rican, and I think you'd like it. So I'm not clowning or nothing. I think you'd like it. But anyway, thanks for the time, and we'll see you in a weekend here in Vegas. And can't wait for your fight against OAM.